Hello, everyone, and welcome back. In this case, I'm going to talk to you about a lawsuit that was just filed against an HCA hospital. It's HCA Florida Palms West Hospital. And I'll put a link to this article in the description to the video. But here's the situation. And I actually, this article, this story is by WPTV, one of the local networks here in South Florida. I actually had been interviewed about this situation when it first happened. So here's the story. There was an individual who had a history of violence, and he was erratic, and the police got called to the scene, and they decided to Baker Act him. Now, for some reason, they did not take him to a Baker Act receiving facility or even a hospital that had a behavioral health unit. They took him to a regular hospital that was not licensed as a Baker Act receiving facility. Apparently, they said he needed medical attention. And while he was there, he brutally attacked one of the nurses. And you'll see in the photograph here, she's lost sight at least in one eye, and they thought she was going to be permanently blind in both. It's just a tragic situation. This poor nurse, it's just absolutely heartbreaking. Let me see if I can find the bit I want to find for you. So attorney Karen Terry, who's a really good lawyer, filed a lawsuit against Palms West Hospital. Its corporate owner, HCA, and Allied Universal Security, the hospital's private security contractor. The complaint alleges that the defendants were negligent in failing to provide adequate security to the hospital with a documented history of violence. It was virtually certain to happen. It was just a matter of time, Ms. Terry said. The lawsuit claims the security contract between the hospital and Allied Universal was inadequate, arguing that both parties should have negotiated more security hours and armed guards, along with additional security measures. The lawsuit also alleges that Scantlebury, this is the individual that beat up the nurse, who had been identified as a danger to himself or others as a Baker Act patient, was medically stable before the attack and should have been transferred to a Baker Act facility. Yeah, that's the kind of facility where the doors are locked and they are licensed and hopefully know how to deal with a violent individual. So here's this very sad case, right? Look, I'm very vocal about the Baker Act, right? Because it's happened to my family member. I was there when it happened. I've also, in the last several years, I think we've represented close to 800 families in various counties throughout the state. I was in Miami-Dade this morning dealing with an issue. Look, I've said this before. I think the Baker Act is very, very abused, okay? And it's easy to abuse. But when it's done correctly, and I emphasize the word correctly, it's a powerful life-saving tool. And the whole point of the Baker Act is it's not just designed to protect the patient, it's to protect everybody else too, right? It's not just suicidal, it's somebody who might be homicidal, right? This guy was dangerous, they knew it, and, he's taken to a hospital that isn't capable of dealing with a violent individual. And this is what happens. And my heart breaks for this family and this poor nurse. I mean, the physical scars will probably heal. The other scars, those internal ones, probably will never heal. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm sure that there's going to be a criminal case, that's arising out of this. And who knows, maybe they'll call me and say, hey, Mark, can you talk to us about that? But for right now, I'm going to spend my time talking to you because you're right now the people that matter to me. And I want you to have the information that you need. I would emphasize, and I know I sound like a broken record here, and this is for families that call us and say they want to get treatment for their loved ones. The Baker Act is not a treatment statute, okay? It is not designed to treat. Assess, stabilize, and release. And if you can't do that within a period of time, then the state, because even these for-profit private Baker Act facilities are licensed agents of the state's mental health facility. So it's incumbent upon the state to either get somebody to remain on a voluntary basis, provided they give informed consent, or go to court and get a court order and get an order for continued detention. That's the whole point of the Baker Act. And yeah, it sounds like somebody dropped the ball here, and I'm sure at some point someone's going to have to pay. But it doesn't unring the bell. In any event, I'll put a link, as I mentioned, in the description of the video. If you want, if you have any questions or comments, please post them. I read all of them. As long as you're respectful, well, I'll be respectful back. But more importantly, I don't mind if you disagree with me. I just want to keep things cordial. You know, it's frustrating when people use the comment section as an excuse just to be abusive, and I'm not going to tolerate that. So just FYI. If you have any issues, something you've seen in your family, and you want me to make a video about it, post in the comments. I'll make a video for you. Let's make sure you get the information, and there's probably another family out there who needs the same information, so let's get it out there. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want more of this content, which I put out on a daily basis, please subscribe to the channel. And with that said, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.